Hello everyone, my name is Yoel. I'm a third semester student of Information System at Institut Teknologi Harapan Bangsa. And today we are going to explore about the most essential pillar of programming called Object-Oriented Program or OOP using Python. In OOP, we think about program as objects that have property and behavior. This approach helps us to make a code that is more structured, reusable, and easier to maintain. In this session, I'll guide you through 5 important questions. First one is what is class and how to make class. The second is what is constructor and how to make a good constructor. The third is how to decide a property for a parent. The fourth is what is inheritance and how to implement it in object-oriented program. And the last one is what is polymorphism and how to implement it in OOP program. So let's get started. For the first one is what is class and how to make class in Python. So a class in Python is a user-defined blueprint that describes how to create object. Think of class like a design for a house. The design itself is not a house, but from that design, you can build multiple houses. Similarly, a class doesn't represent data by itself, but it tells Python how to create objects that contain data and behavior. In this case, we define a class named cat. Inside the class, we have one method called meow. This method, when called, will simply print meow, and if we create multiple objects of type cat, each object will have access to meow method. And the second one is how to make a constructor. So a constructor is a special method in Python, always named underscore underscore init underscore underscore. It is automatically executed when a new object of a class is created. The purpose of the constructor is to initialize the object attribute with the value provided during creation. In this case, the cat class has constructor that takes two parameters, name and age. When we create a new cat, for example, cat underscore cat Milo to, the constructor will assign Milo to self.name and to self.age. Later, when the meow method is called, it will use the object name to print a personalized message like Milo says meow. And the third is how to decide the property for a parent. When designing a parent class, the key idea is generalization. The parent should only contain attribute and method that make sense for all of its children. This avoids duplication and make it possible for child's class to share a common foundation. In this case, you create a parent class called animal. It has two attributes, species and habitat. The method info prints a simple description of the animal, and any child class that is inherited from animal will automatically have this property without needing to rewrite the same code. Then the second one is what is inheritance means and how to make inheritance in OOP program. So inheritance is a mechanism that allows a class to reuse the property and behavior of another class called the parent. It promotes reusability because the child class can directly use all the code in the parent class and also add its own unique feature. In this class, the dog class is a child of animal. When creating a dog, we still need to know its species and habitat, which are handled by parent class. That's why we use super init special habitat to initialize those. The dog class also introduces a new attribute, name, and a new method, bark, which is unique to dogs. This shows how inheritance combines general behavior with specific extension. And the last is what is polymorphism and how to implement it. So polymorphism comes from the Greek word means manifold. In programming, it allows different classes to define methods with the same name, but each implementation behaves differently depending on the object. This is extremely useful because it lets us write more flexible and generalized code. Instead of writing different function calls for each animal type, we can simply call sound and Python will decide the runtime which version of the method to use. This behavior reduces code duplication and improves scalability. In this case, we define two child classes of animal, that is bird and cat. Both classes have a method called sound, but they produce different output. Tweet tweet for bird and meow meow for cat. We then create a list for animal and loop through it. When we call a sound, Python automatically selects the correct method based on the object's type. This is polymorphism in action. And that's conclude our session about object-oriented program. We have learned about how to make class and how to make a good constructor, then how to decide a good property for parent and how to define what inheritance and what polymorphism is and how to implement it in on OOP program. And that's all our session today. I'm Yoel and thank you for joining me.